Hey, what up and welcome to another episode of Creased. Now today we're delving into a silhouette that I ain't touched in, I think I worked it out to be about 13 years, right? So the last time I had a pair, let's go to the first time. The first time I bought a pair of these, I was a little menace. I was running around with spray cans, with texters, markers, crayons, scratchy rock, whatever I could get my hands on to write my name on a wall, or whatever surface it may be, right? And as you get amongst the older riders and everything, they're into their Air Max 90s, their TNs, their Tailwinds. The TN just gravitated towards me because it just looked, even though like it's a shoe that I want to say came out in the 90s, late 90s, it just looked so futuristic, didn't it, right? And to where like you get the quad grids and all those type of things, they just look insane. So I remember buying my first pair, and from what I'm told now, from one of the homies, Tim, he huge in the TN world, even got interviewed by Channel 7 News about his TN collection, right? We still gotta do a collection video, me and him, go in depth, but yeah, like I was showing him a couple pairs I had back in the day, like around like 04, 05, right up to, I wanna say like 09, 2010. And he's saying, dude, if you had those pairs right now, they're going for crazy amounts. I had some of the rarest pairs, which is funny because I just went to my local Foot Locker and I would buy whatever they had at the time. That was a time where like I wasn't checking for releases, I didn't know what was coming out. I would just go to my local Foot Locker and see what they had. And most of the time, the only decent stuff at that time they would have would be TNs. So, you know, around that time it was TNs, I had shell toes, I would do, Air Max 90s were coming back into, they were having a little renaissance, and I would look at Air Max 90s and then I'd see an Air Max LTD and I'll go, I'll pay the 20 bucks for the extra air, like I want more air, it's more cushioning, like that was my justification. And years gone by, I have plenty of Air Max 90s, but I still love the Air Max LTD. But we're not talking about that silhouette today. So fast forward to around about the last time I bought a pair, right? I want to say I'm catching a train in Sydney going out towards Richmond. I'm up to absolutely no good. I want to say I've probably got, you remember them like mini kegs, the Heineken mini kegs? I was like drinking out of that, heading down to my mate's place. The whole weekend all we're going to do is like paint stuff, right? Anyway, I'm dressed a certain way, but I got the TNs on. These young kids come up to me and say, what do you write, bro? And I said, what do you mean? They say, you're TNs, you're wearing TNs, you gotta be a writer. And these are like 8 or 9 year old kids, right? To me, when that happened, I made the switch and I didn't really wear them again, because for me, when I was a graffiti writer, I wanted to be a ninja. I wanted to be incognito. I didn't want to wear a uniform. Not long after that, around that sort of time to like the next 10 years, it has become somewhat of a uniform. You see the people wearing Nautica, Polo, you know, it's a set uniform with the TNs. So for me, I wasn't trying to be caught, and like even police would dress like that as undercover police officers to try and catch other people. So for me, it just seems silly. Plus, I think not long after that, I was buying a lot of, I want to say AM1s, I was buying Nike SB Dunks. So as things would come about, like especially around that sort of age, like new stuff comes out, it catches your attention. It's like, I had TNs, I'm associating them with that right now, but these here, I would wear a lot of Asics Gel Nimbus too for my training and everything like that. So it's been a long time between drinks, right? Now, don't get me wrong, there's been plenty of different colorways that have popped up to where I'm like, maybe I need that. The most recent was the Tiffany. When that came out, that was insane. I just didn't happen to go into my local Foot Locker that week. They were there one day, not there the next, right? I was meant to go that day, and if I'd seen them, I'd probably pick them up, right? That would have been the video right now. Although, was I making videos back then? I can't remember. I think I was still stockpiling them. But, I digress. The next one was the black and white with the lime green Just Do It tag on the side. I thought, that's like a full circle moment. I love lime green, I love the black and white where it's, you know, simplistic, and the graffiti on the side, because that's what I associate with those shoes. But I still didn't buy them. They even restocked recently and I still didn't buy them. Actually, I saw the restock in the city, Pitt Street Mall, at the same time I saw these. Now when I saw these, I mentioned that I would have bought them had I not been saving all my money to potentially buy 12 different pairs of lost and founds, but we didn't hit on any raffle. That's another story for another time. Check the old videos, there's plenty of them. But I want to say, like, some of my first gigs, like within music, I want to say plenty of different like moments within my life. I had TNs on my feet. I even remember like my first ever mixtape back in the day. There's like, I wish I could find this photo. It's super cringe at this point, but it was like CDs everywhere on the ground with a baseball bat and my TNs all in the same photo. Like, I'm obviously trying to go for some sort of image, but it never got there, right? But all those mixtapes sold out regardless. Let's look into this pair. From Foot Locker. I had made a rule on this and maybe a couple of other pairs, right, where I see them everywhere when I'm in Sydney, but I haven't seen them in Newcastle. I like them, I don't need them, right? For certain stuff. This probably not so much. Like things like the Court Purple 3s, if they had came to Newcastle, like the Charlestown Foot Locker, I would have bought them. Because for me it's a little bit more special. If the Fire Red 3s came to Newcastle, I would have bought a fourth pair. And there's been a few other things, like if they'd come and I see them at my local, I'm going to buy them, right? It just makes it that much more special. This was one of them. I'd looked online at this pair in a number of different colorways on the Nike app, but never seen them in person until like the last month or so. The black on black is incredible. Almost bought them, right? And I thought, I'm probably not going to wear them. Like black on black, they always look incredible, but when I look down on them, they just don't look as nice as like a white shoe. So fast forward to this one. Let's do it properly. Ah! Look. I could not go past this pair for a multitude of reasons, right? The colorway, incredible. Clean, but it's also a Bulldogs colorway, right? Me being a Bulldogs fan, I'm always wearing the doggies hat. It's like I can see me wearing these, going to a game at Belmore next year with these. Like that may be even the first time I wear them. Probably not, because they're super comfy. Because just like the Air Max 90s, how they've done it with this Crater foam, they've blown it out, and that was the other thing too. Like one, see them at my local, two, try them on. If they were comfortable, I would buy them. Super comfortable. Man, like, I want to say what Nike has done with the Terrascape range this year. Like, I still feel like the Terrascape 90 in the Sail colorway, like, I think that's better than any Off-White 90. I feel like it's in the conversation for Sneaker of the Year. I'm not saying that's up the top, but it'll definitely be in my, like, top 20, I would assume. Unless, like, 10 other pairs come out of nowhere, but, like, what's crazy is with something like this, or the 90, if you call this a collab, people go nuts for it. Because it's just sitting at your local Foot Locker with no fanfare, like, people don't pay as much attention. To me, and I've said this a million times, I'm an anti-hype beast. I don't care about the hype. I care about the shoe. I care about that I like it, that I want to wear it. Man, so crazy. I feel like there's a couple of things that differentiate this between a normal TN and what this is, right? The crater foam, but actually having crater foam written across there, I don't think they needed to put that there. But the first thing that happens when you get a pair of TNs, right? On the front is a bit of plastic. You scratch it within like the first couple of days and they just look terrible. That's gone. It's leather on this. The other thing, these here are usually plastic and that peels up really quickly. The little dash in between comes up. Once that's gone, like, they're your painting shoes. That's what I used to do anyway. But with this, it's stitched. It's funny, I remember like years ago I had a pair, like I mentioned on eBay that, you know, you used to buy shoes on eBay and convince yourself they were real. I got this pair and it was like leather along here. I thought it was black and white, so I'm like, that's not too bad. It was like 80 bucks when a pair of TNs is like, I think they're still 240, right? So leather instead of the normal material, and it was actually stitched like that. But these along here, these are plastic, so it's different to a normal one, but those were stitched as well. And look, you convince yourself they're real until you pull out the paper inner sole that scrunches up really easily. But these here, man, crazy colorway, super comfortable. I haven't worn them because I wanted to do this video first, obviously, but I tried them on in store and insane. First pair of TNs in, what did we say, 2009, so 13 years? Crazy, absolutely crazy. Might have to pull out the spray cans, eh? Look, I know they get a bad rap, right? People associate them with a certain part of the world, right? They associate them with people that, you know, less than genuine type people, but it is what it is, right? This shoe has done nothing to you. This shoe will do nothing to you, but be comfortable. I also remember a time, like, it went from like people thinking the whole lad Esche thing was cringe to like everyone trying to be that, like rich kids, and like it was funny. Funny how like full circle moment kind of is with fashion all the time. But for me, man, like I'm stoked to have these in the collection. You guys may even look at them and go like, why is he like glowing talking about these? They're just a random pair of TNs. No, these are incredible. Go down to your local Foot Locker and check them out. Check out the black on black ones, because honestly I almost pulled the trigger on them too. You're gonna see a ton of B-roll because the features on these are just endless. But man, like, I'm pretty sure I got shit to do tomorrow. I might have to pull these out straight away. But this has been another episode of Creased. What do you think? Do you mess with TNs? Do you not mess with TNs? When was the last time you bought a pair? Did this little trip down memory lane maybe trigger something in you? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back twice a week. Peace. That's not the focus.